In this video, I will demonstrate how to build an FP&A data model using only Power Query. So first of all, here I have my original data. So this is coming from the SQL database AdventureWorks Data Warehouse 2019. I will put the SQL query to generate this table here in the description, the video description. The first thing that we want to build when we build a data model for an FP&A is to build data input sheet that users will be able to fill out. Usually these input sheets are built with period across. So it's usually the standard way where users are more comfortable inputting data to create a budget, let's say. So here I have the data actuals, and in this context we are in 2025 and we're trying to build our budget for 2026. Our base case will be data from 2025, and to which we can modify for 2026 budget. So my first step will be I will reference this query, so to keep my original query, and to which I will change the name to call it base. In our case here, the user will put units. They will have two metrics to put in the budget: quantities and unit price. In this case, I have total sales and quantities. So I'm going to create myself an extra column in which I'm going to calculate the unit cost, the unit price. Call it unit price. And so I'm doing total sales divided by quantity. Okay. So now since I won't need the total sales for my input form, so I will remove these columns. And now the next step will be to unpivot these two columns. So I'm going to use unpivot columns. And now I duplicated basically every single rows to have unit price and quantities. So to generate my input forms, I will only use 2025 since since it's my base case for 2026. So I select 2025. And now I will need to repivot data, like I said earlier, as period. And for every single period, the user will need to put in quantities and unit price. So I'm going to concatenate these two fields so I can repivot my query here. So I add a custom column. So sales period. So now I'm ready to remove the columns that I won't need. So I don't need sales period because this information is in my custom period that I will repivot later. So I'm going to remove. I don't need the year and I don't need the attribute because that information is also in this column here. So I will remove these. Okay, remove columns. And now I'm ready to repivot my custom column here so I can have my input form. So here, transform and pivot columns, my values, and here we go. So now I have all my territories, my subcategories with all the metrics I need, and all across all the periods. So for this case, I will reference it and I will change. And so I need one query per territory because in this case, we have, let's say, sales manager per territory, and he's responsible to for the budget input. So I'm going to start with Australia. And now and here I'm going to filter on Australia. And so this would be my input form for Australia, to which I will duplicate and just change the filter for every single region. So I need to duplicate it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, and now I just need to get my... Okay, so I have Canada here. I have Germany, United Kingdom, and United States. And in every single one, I just need to change the filter. So I can do it here, or I can do it also here. Also, that works. So France, Germany. Okay, so now I have all my input form. I will, first of all, I will start to load them by... So this is the more manual part of the project, but it's still, I find, very fast compared to a traditional Excel worksheet book. So I'm going to load them as just connection only. So now I have all my every single territory to which I'm going to load to a table. And a new table. Table, a new worksheet. Table, new worksheet. So, and here load to table, new worksheet. Okay, so now I have all my tables, and this is going to be my input. Those are going to be my input form. So now I want to disconnect the data from the Power Query, from the existing connection, because if I change these numbers and I refresh, they will get overwritten. So I'm just going to click on Convert to Range. So basically now they're just basic Excel ranges, which I'm going to have to reconvert after as Excel table. Always work with Excel tables and not just basic ranges as much as possible. Okay, so now I have all my different tables. Now here I see 2025, we said we were working on 2026, so I'm going to change these for 2026. Okay, so now I'm going to replace all the headers with the 2026. So now last thing I would like to do is change the format of these unit price. Unfortunately, in Power Query, you cannot change the format of numbers. So what I'll do is I'll just zoom out like this. I'll select all my tab and I'll do it like this. Since I know they're all identical. So now the format is all good, the headers are good. Now I'm going to convert them into tables. So I'll just insert table. So I'll call it budget UK. Sorry, this one is US. Okay, insert budget UK. Just want to make sure budget Germany. Insert budget France, budget Canada, and finally budget Australia. Okay, so now that all my tables are created, I'm ready to re-import them into my Power Query data model. So now I'm going to source from table range. So I have my budget US. I'm just going to keep the connection here. Otherwise, it's just going to duplicate the information from, okay, load to, only connection, only connection, load to, only connection, and the last one, only connection. Okay, so now I'm going back in my Power Query editor. I have all my input form, so I'm ready to work with them. Okay, now I have my budget, but these are going to be used. So next thing, I want to consolidate them together. So to do so, I'm going to whoops. Okay, so now I'm going to I'm going to use the append query. I'm going to create a new query that will just consolidate all my budget input sheet. So I simply add them one by one. Okay, so next step, now so this, I'm going to call this one budget. So my next, I want to consolidate the budget with the actuals, because eventually this budget is going to be analyzed against the actuals. So I need to unpivot all these columns, because this is not how we work with data. We don't work with pivoted data. So first step will be to unpivot. So I'm going to select my two columns that I don't want to unpivot and use the unpivot function, unpivot other columns. So here I have my attributes and my values. So now I want to separate the values, the period, and the value type, because I'm going to repivot after that in just a moment. So first I would add the columns just for the period. So I'm going to call it period. And I'm going to use a function similar than Excel, a left function, but in M or Power Query, we call it text start. So I have text start here, and my field attribute, 7 first characters of that string. So we have period, and then I want to have the value type that will eventually become a column name. So I'm going to add another column that I can leave it as custom. So in that case, it's going to be another text library function end and attribute. And now I'm going to use another Excel function len, but in this case, it's another text function length. So length and -8 to get my last part of this attribute field. Okay, so I get this one. So now I don't need this attribute field anymore because the information is here. I'll be able to pivot that information. So I remove this one, and now I will unpivot this. Sorry, pivot. Okay, so my value will be field that, so I have my quantity, I have my unit price. Perfect. So now I'm ready to combine my budget with my actual. So if I look at my actual report, I am actually missing the year. So I'll add a simple column, a left for. So I'll call it sales year. And yes, so a text start. So it's case sensitive, so it's really tedious to period 4. Okay, so now it's working. So now I'm ready to combine my budget with my sales report, and I will call that actual sales. So I'm going to use the append function again. So append as new, budget and actual sales report. Okay, I'm going to call that actuals budget. So now I can analyze my budget against my actuals. I can do everything within one data set. So in this case, I will load it into, I'm going to add it to the data model that I can use in Power Pivot. So now I will add another tab, and now I can go in my Power Pivot. Okay, so the budget is there. I don't need the budget by itself. Okay, so now I just want my actual budget. Okay, so actually I need to go in budget and just keep the connection. Okay, so now I'm going back to my Power Pivot, and okay, so now I see that I have a problem because here I have period. Okay, so now I made a mistake. I made two mistakes actually, because I forgot to indicate what are my actuals or my budget. So in this case, I have no way to know which data is what. And also I have two set of periods, sales period and period. So this is because when you append two queries together, they need to have the exact same column names. Okay, so now I'm going to fix it. And now you're going to see how easy it is to fix things in Power Query, and everything falls in place after you fix it. So I'm gonna go back to my Power Query editor, and so here I see period here. I didn't put sales period, so I'll put it at sales period. And also I want to indicate that this is my budget. So I'm going to add a custom column called scenario, to which I'm going to hard code the value, let's say budget 2026. So we could have multiple scenarios, but in this case, we're going to see budget 2026. And my actuals, no, so my actuals are here. So I have my sales period, my sales here, and here I'm going to add a column called scenario. There will always be one actuals scenario called actuals. So now if I go to my actual budget, I look, okay, now I have my total sales column that I don't have in my budget. In this case, I will add this one also. Actually, I don't have my unit cost either here. Okay, so I'm going to change strategy here. I'm just going to reference my actuals. I'm just going to call it actuals. I have my scenario here, and I'm going to create my unit price column here, because I don't want to put too many new columns in this one. So unit price, total sales divided by total quantity. Okay, so here I'm going to change this one for this one. And now everything should fall in place. Sales. Okay, so in my budget now, I'm missing total sales. So I will add total sales here. So total sales, in that case, it's a simple calculation. It's the opposite of the unit price. So total so I will just multiply quantity by a unit price of total sales. Now I'm going to my append query, and now I have all the fields I need. And I will just close and load. So I think I have a new actuals table that I will change for connection only. I don't need to add it to my data model because I have all the information in my actual budget. Just going to clean up this and this one also. Okay, so now I'm going back to my Power Pivot. Now I have all the fields, everything fell in place. So now I'm ready to analyze my budget and build my budget. So I'm going to insert a new pivot table based on my Power Pivot data model. So it's here, I can see it with the little cylinder. So I'll bring my scenario. So here I'll filter everything on budget because I'm just looking at budget value. I'm going to put my territories as columns and my subproduct and my total sales. Oh, here I have a problem. Yeah. So now Power Query kept this value as text. So I will fix that. I need to go back in Power Query to fix that. So here, decimal number. Here I'm going to put decimal number. And my total sales, decimal number. Close and load. So I should be ready to look at my cells. Okay, now last thing I need to do is in my Power Pivot, because here I can change the format, which I cannot do in Power Query. So I'm going to put the format that I want. I can save, click, and now I have a better format for my numbers. So now I have a total budget of $32 million for year 2026 for my budget. So now I can go in the input form and let's say I'm in the French budget and I decide that I'm going to sell more mountain bike for 2026. So I'm going back to my report here that I just built. So I'm looking at France, I'm looking at mountain bike. So I have a 696,000. So this number should go up quite a bit if I refresh. And sure enough, I'm at $30 million sales of mountain bike for France. So it's really fast, it's really easy. Everybody, you can have users changing the values in these forms, and automatically you see the impact on your budget. And also, let's say there's a new market. So let's say you want to go to Spain. And so let's say you assume that France and Spain will have similar numbers. So I just copy my French tab here. So I change it for Spain. I change these for Spain, right? Whoops. And so here I can change, instead of budget France, I put budget Spain. And now I can simply add it to my Power Pivot model. So from table ranges like I did before. And now I go in my budget query where I consolidated everything. Go in source. I add Spain. And just like that, I added a new market called Spain. And now my budget is up to $94 million. So there, no VLOOKUP, no complicated reference cells to other pivot table, to complicated XLOOKUP formulas. Everything is easy. It's so much easier, so much powerful to work this way than, let's say, a more traditional way in Excel.